Happy Taco Tuesday. Come on in for another episode of Car Chronicles. Listen, we got some things to get into. It was a busy 4th of July weekend. Come on in. Let's talk about all that took place over the 4th of July weekend. Child, it was busy. It was busy. Come on in, like the video, like, share, and subscribe. How are you? How are you? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Come on in. The sun is sunning today. Another beautiful hot day in the state of Georgia. Come on in. Let's talk about some things. Let's get into some things. You haven't heard from me in a little bit. I took a break. Come on in. What's up? What's up? Double tap the screen, like the video, helps with the algorithm. Come on in. Listen, it was a lot going on. And I said, listen, I got some questions. What happens when Sheik has questions? She goes live. She goes live. She goes live. When I have questions, I go live, child. Because I don't act like I got all the answers. But I will phone a friend to try to understand what the hell going on. So that's what I do when I go live. That's equivalent to me phoning a friend, ask hell going on. What's going on? Because I don't damn know. Shit. I'm just in Georgia, in the suburbs. Hell. A lot of what I see going down, like it be in these other parts. It don't be popping like that in my neck of the woods. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. Like, share, and subscribe. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. It's a busy weekend. Some highs and some lows. What's up? What's up? Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Riza. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all, it's too much. It's a lot going on. I do my best to keep up, to try to stay in the know. I promise you I do. But sometimes I just be like, you know what, Jesus, take the wheel. Take the wheel, Jesus, take the wheel. Take the wheel. What we gonna talk about first, y'all? What y'all want to talk about? Elon and Trump and this damn. How many of y'all about to go and cross over to new third party? Let me know in the chat. I wonder what color would a third party be? What color we gonna go for? Because we got what? Republican is red. We got the Democrat blue. Y'all, what? So is the third one color will be white? Will what's that? The America Party? The America Party? Is it going to be white? Like what color we going? We going with black? Because if we stick with the colors of the U.S. flag, we already got red, we got blue. Do we have white? Like with the what do you call the conservative? Would they be white? Because I don't subscribe to like one or the other, so I don't know. Maybe I'm already damn white. I don't know. I don't know. I just vote based off what the hell you talking about. I just vote based off of whatever the hell you talking about. If it's speaking to my soul at the time. And a lot of times, listen, that's how a lot of us got caught up. We like, well, shit, you said, so therefore I voted. And now you saying this? That what the hell you said. That is not what the hell you said. So Trump getting that energy right now, y'all. Double tap the screen. It's 44 of y'all in the building. Got one like. Can somebody just listen? Trump is getting hit left and right with that ain't what the hell you said. That is not what you said, sir. That ain't what you said. Let's talk about what Trump is saying. We're gonna talk about the Medicaid. So I'm trying to understand because y'all folks act like the bill is just on Medicaid because that's all everybody them talking about. So let's talk about Medicaid. The hell now I don't right now the Medicaid I ain't it ain't doing nothing for me in my life right now. But one day it will be everything, like it is for many millions of people today. Medicaid is everything. So, did anybody in this chat, in this, get an email from the Social Security office? I'm like, what damn email y'all talking about? Who got an email? Y'all, who got an email? Y'all put in the chat if you got an email as you're double tapping the screen to like the video. Did anybody get an email from the Social Security office? I guess I think they said the email went out on July 3rd. July 3rd. That was my second born child's birthday. He turned 17 years old. July 3rd. Apparently, Social Security, they sent out an email basically trying to I guess, sure the people, the recipients of the Social Security, that you're good, you're Gucci. Like, now, F what you heard. I know you hearing this over here, but you good. So that's basically like with the email. Google it, look it up. There was an email that went out. Some people are like, Social Security don't send out no emails. Yes, the hell they do. They sent out one that day. There was an email that went out. Check your inbox. Hell, check your spam. There was an email that went out. Google it. Anything I say on here, y'all, go fact check, go Google it, get into it yourself. That's what I tell you over here. Go see for yourself. Go see something. So there was an email that went out, and it was supposed to kind of calm the people to let them know, hey, you're fine. You're fine. You're going to be fine. And so I'm like, okay, so are the people really fine? So Medicaid. So Medicaid, based off of what President Trump, Donald J. Trump, resident of the state of Georgia, he talked about high level. He was saying like no tax on Social Security. How many of y'all heard him say that? No tax on Social Security, blanketed. So it's giving like as though like the way it was worded to many people as though it was like an exempt. When you hear no tax on Social Security, no means like exempt. That don't apply to me. That ish don't apply to me. So you pay your taxes. But me, I'm 65 and above. I don't have that tax. So that's how people were interpreting it, right? So then I'm learning like, well, it's not an exemption. It's more of like a credit. So it's like, oh, okay. So an exemption just means, hey, it just don't apply to you. It just don't apply to you. A credit is like usually like a set amount that you get. So for example, with this Medicaid, for a single person, they would get like a $6,000 credit. So like when you file your taxes and things like that, it'd be like a credit for like $6,000. And if you're married, you'd see a credit for $12,000. Oh, and let me add, this credit, it expires, I think, like 2028. So you're like, well, Sheik, what the hell happened after 2028? I don't know. Shit, somebody else got to vote to keep it going, to throw in something else. But I want to let y'all know it's a credit. It's not an exemption. Also, a lot of people were already having this kind of applied to them where they were getting this credit already. So as the Trump administration, and, they were pushing it to say, hey, this is going to impact 90 million people. However, yes, but the vast majority, a lot of the people, it already kind of applied to anyway. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it wasn't really nothing new for a lot of people. It was just, maybe some more people can be added to the equation. So keep in mind, it's a credit. It's not an exemption. It's just a credit. And, oh, let me add this part. As you over 105 of y'all in here, please like the video. And also with this, the credit, it will only apply to those who make either $75,000 annually as an individual, or $250,000 like in a household, like as a couple. You see. So if you single, solo, dolo, it's if you make 75,000 or less, you can get this credit. If you make more than that, baby, I don't know to tell you, it's not going to apply. I'm sorry, not 75,000, it's 175,000. 175,000. So if you're single, solo, dolo, $175,000. That's the cap of which you can make. 175,000. If you are married, it's like $250,000. That's and remember this is until 2028. So we got another 3 years for this. After that, then it goes away, and it's whatever who comes in may want to, if somebody wants to come in, what credit. It's a credit for for seniors, for Social Security, for taxes. So like your money, you wouldn't get taxed on the Social Security. So he ran on, hey, no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips and overtime. You remember he was kind of running on that. So this is that. The no tax on Social Security. So it's not an exemption on, because some people think that it's just an exemption where, oh, I don't have to pay taxes on my Social Security. But it's not that. It's a credit. It's a credit that would be applied to your tax, when you file your taxes and things like that. It's a credit that's applied there. So here's the kicker, as they say. Some people don't pay taxes. I know people that don't pay taxes. Not everybody pay taxes. So if you don't pay taxes, you're not going to even see this credit because you're not filing taxes to see it. You see what I'm saying? You got to be in the system to be able to get this type of benefit. You got to be paying taxes in order to get this because it's a credit. So what they're saying is that people who receive Social Security checks, your feelings going to be hurt if you think that you're going to get your check and not see taxes coming out of it. You'll still continue to see a deduction for taxes like you've been seeing. See what I'm saying? Because it's not an exempt, there's a credit being applied. Is this making... Listen, I can't get in the comments like this. Y'all know how I do when I get to my destination. Got about an hour ride into the office. I'll try to get through the comments. But y'all talk respectfully. It's a credit, not an exemption from my understanding. Y'all can talk about what your understanding is. If y'all say, she a bald-faced lie. Listen, Linda, listen. Help me, help you. It's supposed to, from my understanding and what I'm learning, it is a credit, not an exemption. And you will have it applied like during taxes, when you get the credits and things like that. Listen, so when you get your little check, your little deposit, you try to see, why your check still looking little, because you expecting to not be paying no taxes. Remember what I said. Remember I said that it's a credit, not an exemption. And a lot of people, that's the confusing part. They don't have that as the understanding. But the way the Trump administration was kind of kicking it, it was making it seem like it was kind of like exemption, like you won't pay taxes. Now, here's the thing. For some people, when that credit is applied, it may very well wipe out maybe all of the taxes that they pay. But it's like he's kind of catching you, getting you on the back end. You see what I'm saying? Whereas some people like, yo, I want it on the front end. Just take it out my check, just take it, just leave. Let me not have to have it come out of my check. But from my understanding, that's not how it's working. It's like, no, it's still going to be coming out. But when you file your taxes, then you'll get a credit. And for many people, the credit will offset the amount of taxes that came out of their check. You see? So some people, remember I said a single person, it's like $6,000. So some people, that $6,000 may wipe out maybe the total amount of taxes that came out of their check for some people. So It's like, no, you didn't have to pay it. It's like you paying it on the front end, but they like, yo, I got you on the back end. I got you. Just hang on. I got you. I got you on the back end. But if you're a married couple filing, that's $1,200. It's a $1,200 credit. So yes, that can be, and I'm not gonna just say that's nothing. I mean, I think that's big. I just want to make sure that people understand what it means when they're saying no tax on the Social Security, things like that. That's what that means with the Social Security. No tax on that. That's just what that means. It's a credit. It's a credit, but it's a nice credit to have. It's a nice credit to have. So yeah. So get into that. Go look into it. Try to understand it for yourself. But the way that it was kicked to me, that's pretty much how it was. And yeah, it's not going to last forever. So that is on that. Please like the video as you come on in. Y'all, what the hell is going on in Mexico? Have y'all seen them folks cutting up in Mexico? Trying to do the reenactment of Los Angeles. What's really going on in Mexico? I'm phoning a friend. What's going on in Mexico? Why they tearing up ish in Mexico? Talking about go home, gringos, Americans, white Americans, go home. We don't want you here. I seen a sign some lady had. If you don't speak our language, pay money in pesos, and pay taxes, you don't need to be here. I said, my. Somebody who gets it. Like, that was the message they had in Mexico. So I'm like, wow, I've seen signs like that before. Those are the type of signs I was seeing hell here in the US. I was seeing them type of signs here in the US. So I'm like, wow. They're like, no, go home. We don't want you. Like, to me, to me, I feel like hell, the way they got it on and popping in Mexico, it's tougher than the way it's popping here in the US. Because here in the US, we're not on the streets picketing and campaigning for illegal immigrants to be rounded up and sent up the river. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not what's happening. We have people here who are legal immigrants just tearing up ish because they're mad that their loved ones is getting rounded up and sent back home. As they do all this while having their Mexican flag, El Salvadorian flag, whatever flag, all the flags except for the US flags wrapped around their bodies or waving them in the air. So what we have is them being here in the US street doing the absolute most while saying, I don't want to go home. I want to stay here. What? What kind of sense does that make? You over here tearing up ish and you talking about, but I want to stay here with you. No, the hell you don't. Not with you acting like that. You don't want to stay here with me and my people if you doing all of that. That's like you letting somebody come over to your house and they get to going into your ish and tearing up your furniture and they talking about, I want to spend another night with you. You going to the Holiday Inn, you going to the Motel 6, you not getting another damn night up in here if you can tow up my damn shit, ate up all my food. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. And that's the part that don't make sense, because this is not what you do. That ain't got nothing to do with gratitude. That's just not what you do when you want people to cape and advocate for you. You don't tear up their ish. Like, really think about it from a logical standpoint. You don't tear up somebody's ish while also saying, hey, but I want you to do this for me. While also having your hand out. But you done tow up my shit. I got to pay to fix this because you done tow it up because you done got into your feelings. That is what, to me, my interpretation of what I feel was taking place in the U.S. streets. So in Mexico, they have their locals pissed off to the highest festivity because they're like, yo, Mexico government, y'all catering to these tourists, these nomads, these digital nomads, these people who are just choosing to come here, kick their heels up, call this place home, and y'all willing to lay out the red carpet, build up stuff for them, make things all nice. It would look real nice over here to do that for them. Meanwhile, as they're doing that, is driving, because that's what we call gentrification. When you take an area that's just not all that, and then you spruce it up, and then because you spruced it up, now suddenly it's high value. Y'all know how they do. So now it's high value because you done spruced it up. You done got a different group of people to move in. So now that the different group of people have moved in, now this high value now. And because it's now high value, the price, everything has gone up, because now it's a place where now people want to come to because now it's more developed. This is what is happening in Mexico. And the people were like, F you, government. F you. You're pouring into the tourists and trying to accommodate and meet their needs when we got our grievances, we got our concerns, and shit, we got this long ass Christmas list of things that we want to take place that's not happening. But you got tourists coming in, digital creators. Most of the digital nomads, they're like people who do jobs remotely. A lot of them primarily using the internet. So around like pandemic time, when people went home and started working from home, a lot of people just moved. Some of you might have moved during that time. How many of you, let me know in the chat, like during the pandemic, did you uproot? Did you go move and live somewhere else because now your job was remote? So that's what's happening in Mexico. It's been kind of heavy like that for the last few years, think about 3 years or so. So what the people there are seeing is that the tourists, they're coming in and they're taking over, and it's kind of like shifting them out, and they got a problem with it, and they're calling out the government. They're like, yo, what the hell, what is this, what we doing? But like I said, it's equivalent to what's happening here in the US, as American people have been asking, what is this? Jobs. Like, why we got open borders? Why can't everybody come over here? How many of you in the chat have felt like when you were in the job market, like you were competing against illegal immigrants, you or your children? Talk about it. You in your current work environments. How many people that you can probably count on hand that you like, shit, I know they ain't got no paperwork. And so that's jobs. Those are jobs. So they have the same arguments and things. It's very similar to the argument that the US people have. We're like, yo, like, what we doing? You coming in, people from the outside are coming in and they're getting this, that, and the third. And we're locals, we're residents, and we're not getting treated with the same type of respect, decency, all of that. This is the type of argument that the people in the US has. Like, yo, I found myself without a job. You told me no, that I could not get EBT card food stamps. But Maria and Juan came over here through the open borders. However the hell they got here, that wasn't legal. And they got told, yes, help me understand. Help me understand why I literally paid into this goddamn system and I'm getting the hard no. And when I have the nerve, the audacity to ask why, I'm told, well, because you get unemployment. Child, unemployment after taxes was like $240 a week. The hell them people told me. That was in 2011, 12, when I got laid off for the second time in my career. That's what the message I was damn told. Maria wasn't goddamn told that. Maria didn't pay a goddamn cent into the system, but she got all that life had to offer. She got WIC. She got EBT. Hell, she probably got Section 8. Like, how many of y'all still on the list for Section 8? Y'all know that Section 8 list be long as hell. How many of y'all still like, shit, I'm still on the list for Section 8? This that ish that I'm talking about. So those people over in Mexico got the same cries as the people here. And it's just like, my. It's just like it is what it is. So it's a natural feeling when, or a natural reaction feeling, whatever, when you live someplace and you feel that people who are outsiders are treated better. Let me repeat. It's natural for someone to feel a way when they see people from the outside being treated better. Who wants to feel that way? Nobody should have to feel that way. But that's what we're seeing. That's what the people in Mexico, that's why they over there tearing up Ish. Y'all, they was tearing up Ish while the doggone tourists was in the restaurants trying to have a meal. I'm like, like they literally, y'all think about this, because I didn't see it go down like this in Los Angeles where they was tearing up Ish and people was like in the establishment. I ain't never seen nothing like this before, y'all, where they was tearing up Ish while the people in the establishment, I think it was a restaurant. So you got the workers in there, you had the customers in there, and they sitting and they just looking like go like deer in the headlights, like as the people are trying to tear down, break the glass. Like it was a mess. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like I would be fearful for my life, child, being in a building and you got people outside working aggressively hard to try to get in there where you're at. That is what was happening. The local government there in Mexico, I think it was I don't know, she's the governor, mayor, whatever she is. She was like, they said it was like 15 businesses that were vandalized. Um, and then they talked about, well, we're not going to do gentrification. Like they started talking about how they weren't going to do what it seems that was pretty much already taking place. Like I said, with the gentrification. The gentrification is when you start kind of improving things for the purpose of enticing people from the outside to come in. This is what the people in Mexico is saying, like that's happening. They're saying like it's happening. The government is on some other stuff like, oh, I don't like trying to play it down. Y'all know how it go. We deal with the same thing here in the US where you see things for what they, but though somebody they try to play you crazy like you don't see what you see. You know what's happening. You know what's happening, but they'll try to tell you the sky ain't blue, it's red when you know it's blue. So those people over there are pissed off and they going ham. They tearing up Ish. When people get pissed off, they just tear up Ish. I don't know. I never felt so mad where I want to go tear up Ish. But apparently that's a thing. Apparently it's a thing in the US and Mexico, I see. People just tearing up Ish when they pissed off. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So meanwhile, you got that popping off over in Mexico, and then ICE still going around doing their roundups. They was in what, Los Angeles? But yesterday I seen them in Los Angeles in the streets of LA. They said it was over 100 ICE agents there in Los Angeles. They even brought the mayor Karen Bass outside. I don't know what the hell she thought she was trying to do, but she was out there. I don't know what her purpose was, but she was out there in them streets with the people. But ICE was out at work. ICE is at work. And I was listening to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, the White House press secretary. And one of the reporters mentioned to her about a current goal right now being with 7,000 people a day for ICE roundups. So I'm wondering if that's a new goal since the Big Beautiful Bill Act been signed, because I know that a part of that Big Beautiful Bill Act was to allocate like more resources for ICE, because I heard the border czar Tom Homan talk about maybe it's like a week or so ago. This is before the bill was passed by the, I think it was even before it was passed by the Senate. He said that there's only like 1,000, at that time it was only 1,000 ICE workers, just 1,000, but over 20,000 illegal immigrants on the streets. So he was saying the reason why, it was important for the Big Beautiful Bill to act is because they need the resources. I guess with the act, it would allow for them to hire more ICE agents. But they said it was over 100 outside yesterday in Los Angeles, in the streets of Los Angeles. So ICE is here. So yes, at the press conference yesterday, one of the reporters asked Caroline Levitt about the new daily roundup quota being 7,000 people per day. That's a lot, because the last time y'all heard me talk on here, I was saying 3,000, because it was 3,000 when I left off. But that was pre the Big Beautiful Bill Act passing. So now I suppose with them having more resources, being able to hire more federal agents to work for ICE, they now can do more, which, makes sense. Now you got more resources, so you can do more. So 7,000 a day. That's a lot. That is a lot. Uh, it's a lot. It is what it is. At the end of the day, they're working to enforce the laws that are in place, which says, hey, if you come over here, you just got to do it the right way. It's just not what they say. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that's what's happening right now. Is more on the, how are you doing things? How you moving out here? How you moving? Are your ducks in a row? Make sure you moving the right way, because ICE is out here. Child, did y'all see ICE, where the ICE agents and damn was caught peeing on the school grounds in public? Did anybody see that? I seen this clip where I guess the ICE agents were at like a school. I think they were on a high school campus. And I guess these are the agents in between them going and doing their roundups. They kind of, they little break spot. They was at a school. Nope, a high school. It wasn't in session. But there was a nearby elementary school that was. But I guess on the campus of the high school, it looked to me like a big, like the big trash cans, like the dumpster trash can, like they come around in your community and they pick up your trash and dump it in the big trash. It looked kind of like one of those. And then you seen the ICE agents, I guess they were going behind it or around it, and they were peeing, and it was caught on camera. So the people, aka the Democrats, want them to step to the front of the congregation to talk about why they was doing that outside in public on the school grounds, on a school campus, where kids could have very well seen that, because school, apparently there was something going on where there were kids at a school. It just wasn't any kids at the high school where they was at. I said, y'all, I told y'all, it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. I'm like, Lord, the ICE agent said, shit, I got to damn pee. You want me to round up all these damn folks? I got to pee. I got to pee. What? I got to pee. So I'm like, so that's on that. That is on that. So the ICE agents, now we know ICE agents got to pee too. As much as you see them out there tussling with the people, getting hit upside the head, Molly Rock by the Haitians, they like, shit, I still got to pee even through all of that. I still got to pee. It's a lot going on in these U.S. streets, but we're going to get through it. We are going to get through it. We're going to get through it. Just as I'm prayerful that the people who in the state of Texas are right now navigating through the struggles that they have going on. The catastrophe that took place with the floods. Are any of you all familiar with that? I just kind of started getting into that maybe yesterday, because over the weekend it was just a lot. So I'm like, okay, now what had happened now? how many people died? So the death toll was like over 100. A lot of babies, a lot of kids not with us anymore, missing. It's very unfortunate. But the question I have, maybe two questions. Were there warnings, sounds, signals, alarms, alert, whatever sent out to the people? And if so, what time, like when? Because I was listening to um, this mayor of this town in Texas, in Kerrville City in Kerr County, and his name was Joe Herring Sr. Joe said he ain't getting no damn alert or no warning. He said, ain't nobody told me nothing. This white man said, listen, ain't nobody told me nothing. Ain't nobody called my line. Nobody sent me a text. He said, I went to the website the night before and it told me it'll probably be about 2 to 4 inches of rain. I looked at the sky, saw it partly cloudy, and concluded that, look, don't look like we're going to get rain. Somebody will get rain. And I took my to bed. Like, this is what he said he did. He said, ain't nobody called him, told him nothing. Then the lady who was interviewing was like, well, you're saying 2 to 4 inches. You mean 5 to 7? He talking about, well, I know I'm old and my memory ain't what it used to be, but my recollection was on that website that I looked on, the local, the weather, I guess the website they look on, he said it said 2 to 4 inches. So I'm just telling you what I remember. He was like, I remember seeing 2 to 4 inches. Ain't nobody told me it was gonna be no goddamn 26 inches coming our way. Nobody ain't told me nothing. So for some people, a lot of people in certain areas, they saw up to 26, not inches, I'm sorry, feet, not inches, feet. Some people got as little as 7 or 6 inches, but some people got feet, feet, 2 to 4. Yes, it was 2 to 4. He said he saw on the website it said 2 to 4. He said it didn't say feet, like 20. He was like, it said 2 to 4 inches. And he's like, I know I'm getting older, but I remember seeing 2 to 4 inches. Y'all, that man wasn't lying. He was not lying. So what really happened? What really went down? Because he said he didn't get an alert, and he said they're on like the border, because I guess the local in Texas, they were saying they had sent out alerts and things, but he was saying they're so far out. I guess his small town, y'all, Kerr County, Kerrville City. Anybody familiar with that in Texas? Kerr County, Kerr, and then this man is the mayor of Kerrville City. He said that they're kind of way far out, kind of on the tip. So it's given that maybe whatever alerts or whatever that went out for whatever reason, it didn't send it to them. It didn't reach them. For whatever reason, it didn't reach them. And he said he lost like 2 friends. And it's just sad. He just said it's just very sad right now in the community. They're just trying to come together and just be there for one another. But like, how do you just listen, child? How do you justify this? It reminded me of Hurricane Katrina as I was listening to the story and watching, listening to the people talk and watching all the water news clips. That's what it reminded me of. So they said that it was, I guess the rain came in early morning, July 4th, 4th of July. So that was Friday. So the influx in rain came from the Guadalupe River outside of San Antonio. Um, and that's what caused for, the rain to rise, for the water to go upwards of 26 feet in just like 45 minutes. So that's very fast. So, and then this was taking place while the people were asleep. People were asleep, so they didn't know that all this was taking place. Like, imagine, like, you wake up, like, even like this mayor that I'm talking about, the mayor of Kerrville County. He was like, I saw the skies before I went to bed. I seen clouds. It didn't even look like we were going to get rain. Then he was like, through the night, he started hearing thunder and all of that. He was like, still, it wasn't rain really there for them that morning. It came later. He said the rain came like later in the day for them. So they were just all caught off guard. Because remember, he said they didn't get any alerts. So they not knowing what's to come, like what's to expect. Because remember, he said on the whatever the website he looked at, it said that it was only going to be 2 to 4 inches of rain. Like who's getting scared over that? Nobody. So that's just like a regular day. Like it's just like, okay, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And then, so apparently a lot of babies at a local camp, they were at camp, I guess maybe a day camp for a summer camp. Um, they didn't survive. It's still people are missing. Governor Ted Cruz, he getting the business, getting cussed out and called everything but a child of God because of how they feel like their state kind of dropped the ball, how their state dropped the ball when it came to, I guess, alerting people in enough time. They just and then also they're getting the business. He's getting the business because he's the governor. Some people believe that there was some manipulation with the weather or whatever that resulted in this heavy rain. Like they don't feel like it was like natural rain that just started coming down. Like there was something like altered. Like, so that's why I'm like, this is just giving like Hurricane Katrina. Because y'all remember like during Hurricane Katrina, we were just hearing these stories where they say when the levees broke, we were hearing stories about the levees and things like that, like things intentionally happening. There's been a lot of stories going around where natural catastrophes happening for the purpose of like taking a land grab, taking people's land. Because a lot of times when people go through things like this, they don't have insurance, or they come to learn that the insurance that they thought they had isn't what they had. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now they can't afford to rebuild. They can't afford to rebuild. So their land is just there. And somebody come along and just take over it, where they got the money to buy it, government, whoever, somebody take over it. It's just an easy way to come in and just take something from people that you want. And people, a lot of people feel like it comes through like a fire, floods, like just not, like I say, natural catastrophe events. So many people today believe in, I don't know, if that would have to do with CERN, believe that weather and things like that, can be manipulated. I'm just saying, like, this is what's happening. So with all this water, this damage, like, what percentage of these people do you think will be able to rebuild? Because when Hurricane Katrina happened, a lot of those people moved and just didn't move back to Louisiana. They left. They came to Georgia, where I'm at. Texas. They went to different parts of the country, U.S., and they just didn't go back to Louisiana. They just created a life someplace else. They created a life someplace else. So it's very unfortunate on so many levels. But when I hear just the thought about something intentional, it's just very sad and scary at the same time, because I'm a person who believes that all of that is possible. Whether or not that is what took place, I don't know. I don't know. But the Lord knows, child. The Lord knows. So I feel like if there were things done intentionally, those who are behind it will be dealt with. And that's on that. That is on that. They will be dealt with. What's up? Good morning, Dr. J. They'll be dealt with. because the idea of just taking something from people and taking lives during that process, like, it's crazy work. But I'm old enough to know that it is a thing. I'm old enough to know that it is a thing, that people do things out of selfishness, money, what they say, money is the root of all evil. Like, people will do some ruthless things for money. And I'm saying, to me, that had play out heavy right now, even with Elon Musk and Donald Trump, as they duke it out in the media. Is rooted in money. To me, it's given that these are two men that never really even liked each other, but they saw an opportunity that was rooted in money, and they both decided to just fake the funk and just act like they liked one another for whatever their personal gain was. For Trump, I felt like he could benefit from Elon's money. Elon's worth over $400 billion with the B. He donated, I believe it was in the trillions, but don't quote me on that. But he donated a whole bunch of money to Trump's campaign. That's why he feels like, Trump, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me. Like, it's rooted in that and probably some other things. But he knows what he did for Trump. Is Trump there because of Elon? I don't know. Trump had a pretty good following, but I do believe that Elon did a lot for his campaign that greatly contributed, especially, from a financial perspective, aspect. He did a lot. And who knows what else he did behind the scenes that just hasn't been discussed. And I think that's why Elon's in his feelings, because he knows there are things that he did for Trump that people don't know, as far as the public don't know. And he's feeling away. And right now he's just ready to just tell it all, because he never liked this man anyway. He never liked this man anyway. So Trump is like, Elon just crazy. He's just mad because I won't have at the, I removed the EV credit. Because, okay, so prior to the big beautiful bill, there was a credit in place for those. I think Biden put that into place for those. If you purchase like a electric vehicle, you can get, I think it was maybe about a credit for like $7,500. It was like $7,000, $7,500 for a new vehicle. And I think for used vehicles, maybe like 4,000. So you were getting a credit. And that expires, I think, September 30th of this year. So the Big Beautiful Bill Act is removing that credit. So Trump is saying, oh, Elon's just mad because of that. The impact on just the removal of just the credits for the EV, not requiring for people to have to drive EVs and all of that. Elon, from what I'm hearing, is like, no, that's not why I'm mad. But I don't know. What I do know is that the credit is coming to an end. So I guess if you do want to purchase a vehicle, an electric vehicle right now, you can get the credit, because it's supposed to end, I think, September 30th. September 30th. After that, it's not going to be a credit. So I was listening to this one guy. He has a dealership, and he has, like, he said, at least 100 electric vehicles on his lot. And he was like, they've been selling very well. But remember, you're getting that big credit. Who's not going to, that's a nice incentive for someone to come and see you and talk to you about buying a vehicle if they can get a $7,000 credit. But he was like, with this change, he doesn't foresee his inventory moving as well as it did, because it's going to be fewer people coming to purchase an electric vehicle, because they're not going to have that option. The credit is going to be off the table. So he's like, I'm not adding any more electric vehicles to my inventory. So I guess he's just going to focus on trying to sell the ones that he has. But he was like, I'm not adding any more. I'm like, guess as he's selling them, he's not going to replace them with other electric vehicles, because he's like, it's like, people aren't going to be buying these vehicles like that anymore. They're not going to be buying them like that. So Elon, like, well, F what you heard, forget the electric vehicle. Let's talk about them Epstein files. Y'all, this is like the worst divorce ever. I told y'all, like, so those who are day one who've been following me for a while earlier on this year when I talked about Elon and Trump, I said, this is when they were still bros, when they were still in love. I was like, y'all, when they had this breakup, Elon is gonna be like the woman that woman that's in her feelings and just gonna be just laser focused on making Trump's life a living hell. Like, I felt that's how it was going to be. He just didn't give that he was gonna be one to just grab his bag, get his keys, and just go on about his business. I just didn't see that with him. I did not see that. I saw Trump coming to a place to where he regretted ever accepting anything from Elon. Y'all ever dealt with somebody to where when things go left and they just start doing the absolute most, you just regret ever even just doing whatever it is that you did for them, dealing with them, meeting them, all of that. You're like, yo, oh my God, even if I wouldn't have been able to have this or that, I was still, if I can undo ever having to anything to do with this person, I just would. I feel like that's where Trump is. I feel Trump is there. Like, whatever Elon did for him, if he could go back and not have had him do that, he would have. Because Elon's like, listen, you done pissed me off. You done used and abused me. You know how when somebody feel like they done got done wrong, they didn't feel like they've gotten done wrong. That's how Elon's feeling. He feels like he's been wronged, and we as a people don't really know what exactly he may mean or what that means for him as far as done wrong. We can speculate. We can speculate because Trump did come out and say, well, I never promised Elon that, you know, I would mandate EVs. Like, Trump has come out talking about things centered around the electric vehicles. But we can speculate all day long, like, why Elon is really in his feelings. But nonetheless, Elon is in his feelings for a reason. And what makes sense to me is that he's in his feelings because he feels like Trump reneged or went back on something, on an agreement that they made. If you really think about it, somebody ain't just going ham like that for nothing. Typically, people will go that extreme when they feel like they were done wrong. This is personal. This is personal. And now Elon's coming out talking, saying, okay, Trump was connected to Epstein file. He this, he that. Okay. But people are now looking at Elon sideways, like, okay, so that just goes to show that you knew all this and you still was willing to be his bro, to give him a bunch of money for his campaign. Epstein been gone allegedly for, offing himself for years. So why are you now, since you're mad, talking about how bad Trump is or his connection with Epstein, when 45 days ago y'all was bros? And that's how, and on my last live, I spoke the same way in regards to Trump and Elon, with Trump saying, oh, Elon need to be audited by Doge and all of this. Well, if you feel like right now he need to be audited by Doge, that means that you knew when he was in the White House helping you that his business wasn't maybe quite on the up and up, and there was some stuff that just wasn't quite kosher, but you were willing to overlook it because he was in your corner. I see them both doing that. It's rooted in money. Both of them were willing at one point to look the other way and not bring light to the wrongfulness that the other one was doing because of their own financial gains, their own wins. And then when things went left and they got mad at each other, now they're really showing us how they feel about one another. Trump is showing that he always felt Elon was on some other type of stuff, that his stuff wasn't kosher. That's what is given to me. And then Elon is showing that he never viewed Trump as a upstanding guy because he was running around with Epstein. But both of them, this information that they're now putting out, this is information that they both were sitting on when they were running around being bros. You see what I'm saying? So why now you want to out one another about what type of time they on when they was on this same type of time when y'all was bros? When you had that man at your house in Mar-a-Lago with his kid, when you had that man in the Oval Office, when you had that man auditing the American people, taxpayers' financials, looking into um, their affairs, their businesses, their document, like all of that. You already knew that Elon was whatever you say Trump Elon is, just like Elon already knew what type of time Trump was on. So why now is it a problem? It's only a problem because y'all mad at each other. It's not a problem because, okay, you feel like morally Trump is wrong. He do wrongful stuff. Because if you was on some moral type stuff, you wouldn't have never even aligned yourself with him. So we're not going to play that part and act like we on some moral compass stuff and Trump is a bad person and you shouldn't rock with him. Okay, well, you're clearly a bad person as well because you were rocking with this person hard for a good, 6 months nearly, knowing what you know. Elon didn't just come to know what he knows post him leaving the White House. Everything that Elon is talking about, he bring up these files and things like that. This is stuff that was coming up while Elon was joined at the hip with Trump. For a minute, hell, people was thinking that hell Elon was a doggone vice president versus JD Vance because you was seeing a presence, you was seeing Elon's presence more than JD Vance's presence. Like really, you all earlier on, you was seeing Elon more than JD Vance. So what's really going on? So this third party, Elon's like, F it, I'm gonna start, I got enough money, I'm gonna start a third party. I'm gonna start a third party. How do you all feel about the third party? I think he calls it the America Party. So I don't know if that name will stick, but I think right now it's being called the America Party. Are you here for the America Party? To me, I'll just let you know when it comes to this politics stuff, I'm just like, I'm tapped out. Like I said, I'm pretty much a conservative anyway, like an independent, I guess. I don't subscribe to Democrat, Republic. I more so just follow whatever the policies that somebody has. But what I'm coming to see more and more, and I'm getting older, so I'm more enlightened and, my eyes are opened wider at 44. People just be lying. People just say what they need to say to get what they want. And more that's present. More and more that's present. And at the end of the day, that does not benefit the people when somebody's moving that way. So it has me to think like, well, what's the point of me going out and voting if this is what they're doing? Like, what is the point of this? Because if we're seeing that a lot of times, even currently, and not with just this administration, but a lot of them, most of them, all of them, they'll run on one thing, but we don't really see it play out that way when they're in office. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just, so as Elon talk about this third party, is it going to be a party that's better than what we have? Because look at the character of Elon. He been running around hard with a man for what, about 7 months, 8 months, with a man who he's accusing of being a PDF, hanging out with Epstein. This who you been bros with for the past several months, but now it's a problem and you're wanting people to look at Trump's side eye because of you said what he's been doing. But sir, that we got to look at you side eye too, because if it's true of what you're putting out there, It's not making you look good because you were running around with him knowing this information that you're now putting out there. So what makes somebody want to join your party? Because it's giving that I'll do whatever I need to do to get what I want. Is that any different from any of the other parties? Like, how is it different? With Elon being the face of this new party, is that a good thing? With us seeing how Elon's moving, how he's been moving, and now he's saying, y'all, I'm gonna start my own party. Is that a good thing? Because to me, I don't feel like he's a good representation of a new party that's supposed to be better. Not to me. Not to me. To me, it's on that same type of time as the other parties. Same thing. It's on the same type of time as the other parties. So what we doing? Like, is it really that it's not different to me? It's just lies and propagandas, lies and propaganda. Who can tell the biggest lies, the biggest whoppers, that to have people to jump on board to support them, only for when the time comes, they don't deliver on what they promised. This is what we see happen all the time. And then we run back out there and reelect these people to get back in the office and do the same thing over and over again. Definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And this is what's happening. So I think with Elon and this idea of a third party, I think they estimate right now it's probably about 4% of probably the population that are on board with this. I think what makes it seem sexy to some people is that I think a lot of people are over the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, rightfully so. I am. So people just naturally, when they're just fed up with what they're being fed, they want something new, something different. And I think that is what Elon is trying to capitalize off of. Like, okay, so we'll start a new party. So people, they'll just think, okay, new, and equate that to fresh, different. But me, I don't feel like it really would be that, starting with the, because of who the person is who's getting it started. He is showing, he is showing that he on some other type of stuff, that he just an opportunist. Like, so if he is the face of this new party, that he ain't the right person to be leading this idea of a new party. He may have the money. He may have the money, but baby, he's not the face, I believe, that should be of a new party. I am here for an idea of a new party. I am here for that idea. But Elon, no, no. Elon, I'm not here for him being the face of that. It's just Elon basically, if you're not a Trump supporter, keep in mind that Elon was not too long ago bros with Trump. He was, so really think about it as he tried to start anew. Are you getting that far removed from Trump? Like, he rode with him. He rode with him. So that's on that. So I think the Trump administration right now are trying to put it out there as though he's, I don't know, he undercover, like he's really a Democrat. I don't know. Because I think I had learned that Elon used to be a Democrat, like years ago. He used to be a Democrat. Then he ended up crossing over or whatever to, I don't know, he crossed over when he went on to support Trump for this past election. But I just think Elon is an opportunist. Elon is an opportunist, and I just wouldn't follow him on whatever he's doing. And I think that Elon will, I think he could have the ability to impact elections because it's taken away votes from the Republican Party. I think there will be people who were once a part of the Republican Party who will go on to support this America party. I do believe that will happen. Um, the Democrat Party, I don't know. I see more people probably crossing that was a part of probably the Republican Party versus the Democrat. Because the Democrat Party ain't like this Elon for a long ass time. Like, remember, they was burning up his cars and stuff. They were burning up his car. So I don't think the Democrat Party is going to really cross over and rock with him like that. But I can see people from the Republican Party, I can see some of them coming over. Yeah, I can see some of them coming over. But we going to see soon enough because Elon is going to start, campaign, doing whatever, getting really, boots on ground for the 2026 midterm elections. So he's serious. He got the money. I told y'all he worth over $4 billion. I think it's like 413 billion, some crazy number. How much he worth? He worth 405.2 billion dollars. Omari said they're all opportunists and criminals in this administration. I believe you. And it just has me just thinking very differently about just politics and future presidential elections because like I said, I ran, those of you who may be new to my channel wonder where I stand. I voted for President Trump um, the last two times he ran. And my vote was rooted in the idea of change because the way things were underneath the Biden administration, I just wasn't happy with it. And I wanted something different. I just felt like more could be done. And Trump spoke a good game about what that would look like. So I'm like, yo, bet I'm willing to give you a chance to do what you said you were going to do. You said you were going to get this. Like my primary reason for voting for him was him getting this illegal immigration situation under control, open borders. I was never in support of the open borders. So I liked that he went hard on just not wanting to have our borders open. Just like the people in Mexico don't want Americans just coming all over there and just taking over. Like Americans here, we don't want that happening either, where people from Mexico or wherever coming over here doing the same thing to us. Like nobody wants that. Like really think about it from that standpoint. No one wants people to come to their home and just take over. It's just a natural feeling. Like as I say, think about somebody coming into your house and trying to just do the absolute most. You like, yo, what the hell you doing? Get out before y'all know it's that same energy. So it's a natural, it's natural for somebody to feel a way when somebody's coming to their home and just doing the most, not abiding by whatever rules that they need to abide by. So when you come over across the borders, you're breaking the law. Let's just start there. You're breaking the law. So that was the primary reason as to why I voted for Trump, because I wanted him to get that under control. I don't care about whoever comes over here. My thing is just do it the right way. Just be documented, like do it the right way. So I hear that it's a long process. It can take years. It's money that goes into it. Okay, but I don't feel like it's an excuse to just sneak in here just so you can get around all of that when you have people who are coming here the right way that's doing all of that. You see what I'm saying? Like there's rules, laws, regulations, all that stuff is in place for a reason. And all these other countries require people to adhere to them. But I feel like when it comes to the US, it's an issue when we want to require for people to adhere to them. And I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why can't other countries have their laws, their processes, and things like that, but we can't? We can't, but everybody else can, but we can't. We're supposed to just be like, well, I mean, it is what it is. It'll be fine. Like, no, look what it got us. Look what it got us by just being so lax. And we've been so lax that the people who are here illegally, they tearing up our ish. They on this who gonna check me boo type thing. Who gonna check me boo? Like the entitlement. It's the entitlement for me. Thank you, Banger. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like the video. It's the entitlement for me. I feel like that. What they say, you ever hear people say that when things are handed to you easily, You don't really appreciate it as much as you do when you had to work for it. I feel like that's what's happening with people who have come over to the US. They didn't have to work for it. They just got here however they got here. So now we're here and they're being told, hey, you can't be here anymore because you didn't do things the right way. So they want to damn tear up ish and act like they don't appreciate what we got here. Why? Because it's like, look how they came over here. They didn't, it wasn't kosher with how they came over here. So they don't have any respect for what we got going on in the US with our businesses, our communities. There's no respect because they didn't work hard and go through the process to get over here. Because I would probably bet that the people who did do all that ain't out here tearing up ish, because it doesn't make sense. If the person who stood in line to get they whatever they ducks in a row, paid their money, waited years, I'm gonna say them ain't the ones that's out there burning up and tearing up ish, because they worked hard to come over here to gain access to these things. That's like I say, somebody coming to your house and your kids got their friends coming over and they tear up your kids' toys or whatever. Because people that don't have things and used to having, they don't know how to appreciate things. So what we're seeing is we're seeing people who ain't never had ish, who don't know what it is to appreciate things. They're just easily tearing up ish because their mindset was like, well, hell, it ain't mine anyway. I didn't have to work hard to build that. I didn't pay into that. So I'm going to tear it up. A person who worked to build some ish, who paid money into some stuff, they're not going to have a mindset if their mindset isn't going to be to go tear up some ish. That's not even across their mind, because they're like, yo, like, we worked hard. We're not going to do this. So what I feel like is that people who ain't used to having ish, they have no problem tearing up ish. And that don't even just go towards just people in the Hispanic community. You see that happening in riots with black communities too, in hood communities, tearing up their own stuff. You ain't seeing that pop off in the damn suburbs. Y'all talk to me. Tell me when the last time you seen a riot pop off in the suburbs, in an area to where people have like really good incomes. Have y'all seen people in them communities tearing up their stuff? No, you damn have not. We ain't tearing up our ish in the damn suburbs. You're not going to see that. People who work for things that are used to having don't tear up their stuff. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. The people who ain't used to having ish are the ones who are tearing up ish. Y'all, this shit ain't that deep over here. I tell y'all, it's real basic. It's common sense. This is a mentality thing. It's not a skin thing. Are you used to having? People who are used to having and people who are not used to having move very differently. They move very differently. Mexico. Those people in Mexico that are tearing up the businesses and doing whatever. Example, these are people who are used to not having ish. That's why it's no problem for them to tear up ish, because they like, well, hell, we ain't had ish any damn way. You putting all the money and resources into the tourists or whatever. So hell, we finna tear up this. It's the same. It's the same mindset. It's the same mindset. You ain't used to having. So you can easily tear up something and have no regard to it, because you're like, well, shit, it ain't mine. It ain't my business. Am I still breaking up? I just parked. I made it to my destination. Can you all still hear me? I'm in a parking garage, so sometimes it'll start to go out. But I've arrived. Thank you all for joining me. Felipe, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you all hear me okay? It's going down in Mexico. Let me see on my note what they said. Can y'all hear me okay? Hopefully it's not breaking up. Yeah, it's better now. Thank you, Amberlyn. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. So the local Mexicans are demanding local legislation to better regulate tourism levels, and stricter housing laws. So gentrification is real. They're like, yo, you got these people that they're mad. It's mostly, they're saying they're calling out mostly American tourists who have flooded into Mexico capital in recent years. They are known as digital nomads. That digital nomad is someone who lives a nomadic lifestyle while working remotely using technology, primarily the internet, to conduct their work. So the people, the locals there in Mexico was like, yo, you got these people, mostly Americans, they're coming here and they're taking over, they're setting up shop. The government is catering to them, and we're still left with nothing. So because of that, we finna tear up some ish because we ain't ever had ish anyway. So all this that you building up and these restaurants, whatever, this was never ours for us anyway. This is for these tourists. So we finna tear some ish up. You see what I'm saying? It's the mentality. It's a mentality. Because if you're used to having and you know what it is to have, you know how hard it is to work to have, your mindset isn't going to ever be, I am about to go tear some ish up. That is not the mindset people have. That's not. That's not the mindset of people who are used to having have. That's why I say, challenge me. Tell me where you seen in the suburbs where those suburban people got pissed off at whatever and went tearing up their community. You see these things take place in the inner cities. You see these things take place in communities where there's low income. You see what I'm saying? It's a mindset. It ain't the skin, it's the mindset. Omar said, I ain't never had issue. I don't think like that, Sheik. And I don't believe everybody do think like that. But you got enough of them that do because we see the ramifications of it in our communities. When people get in their feelings, they get mad, they turn to tearing up things in their community. And it makes no sense to me because now you done burnt up the local grocery store that your grandma, grandpa got to go to. They don't have a car, but now you done burnt it up. Now what they supposed to do when they got to get out here and go to the store, go out and get their medications, go get their groceries. Like people don't be thinking about that because people are so, they're emotional. People move out of emotion versus logic. I know for with just my community, black community, we're known as being very like emotional. They're very, very emotional people. But like when you remove out of emotion, this is what you see. Because now after you done damn messed up and just did the absolute most, it's like, oh snap. I really don't know how these people be feeling, y'all, after they go and tear up ish. I promise you, I don't know. I've never talked with anybody who participated in like a riot and then asked them, okay, afterwards, how did you feel? In particular, those who participate in the riot and they live in the communities where it took place. Like, I would be curious to know, like, how do they feel coming out of that experience, like, as the dust settles? And they're hearing, family members talk about, oh, the challenges of going to different places, like the grocery store, the pharmacy, things like that. I live in Georgia. I live in Georgia, Metro Atlanta, in the suburbs of Georgia. That's where I live. But it just doesn't make any sense. So it's not a color thing, it's a mentality. People that ain't used to having, a lot of times, more often than not, are the ones who have no problem taking yours. Because people who are used to having or know how to go and get it, their first thought isn't to go and come for yours. They're going to go and get it themselves, go get their own. They're not going to think, oh, let me go rob this person or steal this person or mess up, vandalize this person's property. They're not going to think that way. It's a mentality. It has nothing to do with race. It's a mentality. It doesn't make sense. And we see it happen too much. In Mexico, it doesn't make sense. They're tearing up their own community, just like we've seen here take place on our streets. People tearing up their own community. Dr. Giselle said, ain't nothing like that going on in Atlanta. Y'all remember when they tried it and our mayor at the time, Keisha Lance Bottoms, got on the news and basically told the people to cut their ish and that we wasn't finna have this. I think they were trying to break in. It was T.I. was on the news and what was that other rapper? It was another rapper. I forget his name, but I think it was around the whole George Floyd thing or something that happened, maybe around that. But they tried to get it on and popping. But our mayor was like, listen here, what we ain't finna do, we ain't finna have you listen. I said she went into black mama mode. She got on that news, rode her neck or whatever. I tell you that it wasn't. We didn't have no more stories about people doing the absolute most in the streets of Atlanta after she held that press conference. We didn't have no more problems like that. It was very short lived. So again, it's the mentality. Like, and I get people being their feelings, they get upset, but tearing up your community, that ain't ever the way to get what you want. Like, really think about it. It's illogical, really, when you think about it. That's the quickest way to damn never get what you want. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's hard. Desiree Perez, what's up? You said Trump, thumbs up. Trump is our president. He's the president of the United States. He is the leader of our country. It is what it is. It is what it is. And right now, they're confident in the bill. I was listening to, I listen to different news outlets. And, of course, you got CNN who hate Trump, Fox who love Trump, MSNBC. Like, so I just listen to, all these different news outlets to kind of get the different perspectives of, how they're interpreting things. So I was listening to Fox News this morning, and one of the commentators, and they were just talking about how with this bill, just, oh, how awesome things is going to be for the U.S. people. Y'all, listen, time is going to tell. Time is going to tell. That's the thing. Regardless of how we may feel about what's taking place, what's going to happen, what ain't happening, time will tell. Time will tell. And it will not lie. Time will tell. And we will see how all of this works out for us. Unemployment numbers went down a little bit. They went down a little bit, and people are contributing it to the immigration roundups because it's creating more jobs. It's creating more jobs for the American people, so that's good. It was at 4.2% in May. It was down to 4.1% in June. So employment rose by 147,000 jobs in June. That's a good number. And it's saying that a lot of the employment came from the job gains. So I'm telling you, employment rose by 147,000 in the month of June. The job gains occurred in state government and healthcare. So when I got to thinking about that, I'm like, that makes sense because graduations and things like that just took place. I know some people who graduated, got their nursing degrees and things like that. So you got people coming out of school and primarily going into state jobs and healthcare. Federal government continue to lose jobs. The number of unemployed people is at 7 million, and that changed a little over the month. So you still got the job losses for the federal sector, but there are gains in the state sector. So the state is winning, but the federal not so much. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But in all, there are gains in the state government and healthcare. So if anyone's kind of thinking about fields to go into, to explore, just keep that in mind. AI. A lot of people are concerned about job stability because of the incorporation of AI. I do know in this bill, there was something written around AI to where, like, a state can't say, I think my understanding of how the AI portion of the bill was is that a state can't come in and tell, I guess, a company or whatever, try to regulate their AI to say you can't use AI for this or that. For 10 years, for the next 10 years, AI is here. So good or bad, however you like it, is here. And the government or your state, local governments, they can't control it to try to say yay or nay if you can have it or not. They can't do that. So that's like my understanding of how the AI portion of the big beautiful bill is. So get into that, research that. I want to say a lot of people are going to lose jobs in healthcare and with Medicaid cuts. Yes, I saw over the weekend some videos about nurses already being given their walking papers already. Yep. So it is happening. I did see over the weekend some content and things like that where women were crying, talking about they just told they don't have a job, and some of them were like working for some of them had even government working for. I think this one lady, she worked for, I think, at the VA office, and she was like, she was just told, she was just one of two nurses, and they both, I think both were told that they were now without a job. What I will say is that I think it's going to be best for people to just stay tapped in, do your research, um, tap into people, your favorite content creators who talk about the things that are going on in the world. So you'll be just in the know. You'll be in the know. Hell, I was listening to that Meta. So is that Mark Zuckerberg? Meta, they're specifically investing like millions of dollars into recruitment of AI like engineers or whatever. People who can do work with AI. They are aggressively recruiting for those people. So I was just telling my daughter, she's 15 and she's, medical bound, or she wants to be um, a scientist or whatever. But I'm like, try to figure out a way that you can incorporate AI into whatever you're doing. Because since AI is going to be embedded in everything, to me, it makes sense for people to learn a skill that will have them to be able to work with AI. You see what I'm saying? Like, if AI is a thing, who the hell creating the AI? Who's behind the AI? You see what I'm saying? So to me, it makes sense to try to figure out how you can kind of get into that where you're able to like work with AI. If it's going to be a thing that everybody's using, figure out how can you be a part of that to make that work. That's what I was trying to tell her. She's like, shit, she's only 15. She's looking at me like, child, it ain't that. Like, a lot of people, and she's just a child, don't think that AI taking over like that is that close to our reality. Like, she thinks that, oh, that's just far. It's not that close to taking over like that. And I'm like, child, you delusional. You need to do your research. But she doesn't feel like it's here like that to where it's going to be impacting like the field that she's in, the higher. I don't know. I'm just like, babe, listen, do your research, because it's here. It's already here. There's a lot of college graduates who are struggling to find work. And a lot of them say that with AI being around, it's taken over those level positions. Entry level positions are being taken over by AI because you don't need a human person to maybe necessarily do those jobs. You can have AI do it. So it's here. And like I said, my daughter, she's 15, so her delusion, it's understandable. But a grown person, what is your excuse? It's here. Riza said, all of these kids that are computer savvy and small children, their parents need to be pushing them in that direction. I try. And my daughter, she's like like a super smart, like gifted type kid. And she's just like, it's just the mindset of these kids. It's like they believe they're untouchable. Y'all know, it's just like, they just like, oh, we're fine. Like, they don't worry about Ish. What's up, Laura? I ain't seen you in a long time. How you doing? It's like these kids, they like, shit, we'll be all right. Like, that's my daughter, my daughter's favorite saying, oh, I'll be fine. Like, she's just super just chill and don't worry about a damn thing. But I'm like, we got to think about some of these things, and you only got a few more. She'll be a sophomore next year, so she got 3 more years of high school. She has, so she wants to be either study astrology or be a medical doctor or a body examiner. So like I said, she's brainiac, she's super smart. But when I talked to her about AI, she's just like, that's like far down the line. That's not going to impact it. That child, you got 3 years. You about to graduate. You do not think that by the time you're graduating college that AI ain't finna be. If you don't figure out how the hell to make AI help you study these damn stars in the sky and the planets, I don't damn. You better figure it out. Y'all, we got to figure it out. Figure out. Lesson for today, honor students. Figure out how you can incorporate AI into your situation, even with learning some type of skill. Astronomy. Yeah, Liz, you said Liz, thank you, because she be correcting me too. Astronomy. Yes, I'd be like, astrology, you trying to study the sky. That's how. Listen, her mama's a psychology person. I have a master's degree in clinical mental health psychology. I jack up all them terms. I don't get the sky. Listen, that does not have my interest. I like to study people. I be focused on people. How you feeling? Are you depressed today? That is her mama. My daughter don't give a damn how you feeling. She wants to know how things work. She's trying to figure out the how things work. I'm trying to figure out, well, why you feel that way. She don't care about the why. She wants to know the science behind the how. So that's how we different. So imagine our conversations. But yes, thank you for that, Liz. Astronomy. Yes. So she wants to study all of that. She's interested in all of that. But she's like, this AI child, she's like, shit, we'd be all right. All right, then. But yes, we got to figure out how to make AI work for us because it is here. So, lesson of the day, honor students, get into that. Liz said it's fine, just confused. Why would she want to do the readings? Child, I jack it up every time. Now, I'm into astrology. I love astrology. I'm a Scorpio, so naturally we're they say we're intuitive. I love astrology. So, um, but yeah, she's into the other stuff. So thank you for that, for correcting me on that. But yeah, like we got to figure it out. It work for us. AI into your situation. Is there anything that you can learn centered around AI? Because as I say, Meta is dedicating millions of dollars into recruiting people to come over who knows how to work with AI. That's so they're not putting the money in nothing else. It's like we need the people to come over here who can help us with the AI. So those of you who may have children or you're in school yourself or trying to figure out life, what you're trying to do, what you want to do, explore AI because that's the way of the future. It's actually here. It's just here. It's just the presence of it is going to become greater and greater. And this big, beautiful bill says, hey, it's here. And I dare you to try to touch it or mess with it because we locked in for 10 years. We locked in for 10 years. Tim said astronomy is an interesting move. She can work for Elon and ISS. Yeah, like she's just, yeah, that's her thing. You got NASA, any of that. So she likes that, and then studying the dead bodies. That's a body examiner. So listen, her favorite show is the damn CSI and all of that. So um all of that. So she's different than her mama. I don't care about stuff. I'm concerned about how people are feeling and how we gonna navigate through all of this. That's kind of where my interest is. And that's why I come out here and I share the information with you all so you know what's going on out here so you can do what you need to do to protect you and yours. That's on that. I always say go out into the world, show up in a way in which you want others to show up for you and take care of yourselves. And when another heavy on the taking care of yourself. There's so much going on out here in these streets. We taking care of everybody and neglecting ourselves. So do something nice for yourself. Figure out how AI can work for you. Do your research. Just figure it out because it's here. It's here. And on that note, you all like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tapping in and riding along with me on my ride into the office. And yeah, stay tuned. I will catch you all in the next Car Chronicles. Peace. Happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday.